how Nairobi is becoming the UN's new power hub in a world where diplomatic influence is often measured by who gets invited to the table. Kenya is flipping the script by building the table itself. In 2025, Nairobi is no longer just a city where UN agencies happen to be headquartered. It's evolving into a diplomatic powerhouse, hosting high-stakes summits, shaping global narratives, and redefining Africa's place in international decision-making. This is not about optics, it's about orchestration. Kenya is quietly repositioning itself not just as a participant in a global affairs, but as a platform for them. The question is no longer whether the world is watching Nairobi, but whether Nairobi is now helping the world to lead. A quiet shift is unfolding in East Africa, one where hosting meetings means holding influence. Hi, I'm Iman Farid, and this is Analytica Today. In 2025, Kenya is not just attending high-level meetings, it's hosting them, from peace and security to development and climate innovation. Nairobi is emerging as the UN's next strategic capital, a city where global problems meet African solutions. At the heart of this shift is a bold and calculated move: multilateral diplomacy with Nairobi at the center. With back-to-back visits from UN officials and the expansion of international office, Kenya is not just offering its hospitality, it's making a play for global relevance, regional leadership, and long-term partnership. So is this the making of new African power hub or just another diplomatic headline? Let's take a closer look. From UN host city to global decision maker, Kenya has long been known as the home of UNEP and UN habitats. But for years, that status was seen as historical, a holdover from a different era. That changed in 2025. This June, Nairobi hosted the UN High-Level Dialogue on Peace and Development in Fragile States, a first-of-its-kind forum that brought together top leaders from across Africa, Europe, and Asia. For President William Ruto's administration, the message was clear: Kenya is not just a location, it's a leader. The outcome? Renewed attention from major UN bodies and a surge in diplomatic interest. Secretary General Antonio Guterres himself called Kenya a pillar of global cooperation in uncertain times. For Nairobi, it was a soft power victory with real implications. The UN Southern shift, but this is not a one-way street. The UN is also pivoting and Nairobi is in its sights. This year, plans were unveiled to expand the UN office in Nairobi into full global support and innovation center. New departments, additional staff, and major funding are expected over the next 2 years. Some diplomats are calling it Geneva South. Why? The logic is simple. Kenya offers the trifecta of diplomacy, stability, strategic location, and credibility. With crisis in Sudan, South Sudan, and the Horn, proximity matters. And in a world looking for fresh leadership, Kenya's calm diplomacy and regional engagement are being noticed. Security, soft power, and strategy. Unlike traditional host countries, Kenya brings more than venues. It brings regional muscle. From leading the East African standby force to playing a mediation role in Somalia, Kenya is doubling as a security actor and a diplomatic partner. It's this hybrid approach, hosting and doing, that's making Nairobi stand out, and the investment is paying off. New UN-backed programs on youth empowerment, green energy, and digital governance are now being piloted in Kenya. This is no longer about symbolism, it's a strategy. Diplomatic deliverable or diplomatic theater. Still, Nairobi's rise comes with expectations. Hosting major forums and the UN delegation is one thing. Turning that visibility into real outcomes is another. Kenya will be under pressure to deliver on governance, on reforms, and on inclusive development. And some critics are skeptical. Is this a genuine moment of transformation or just another chapter in the well-worn book of diplomatic theater? In a region still wrestling with security concerns and rising debts, the question is not just about whether Kenya can shine, it's whether it can sustain itself. Nairobi's play for power, while Ethiopia courts influence through summit diplomacy, Kenya is building something more permanent. A UN-backed footprint in East Africa. Its 2025 diplomatic strategy is not about short-term headlines, it's about long-term architecture. If successful, Nairobi won't just be a meeting point. It will be a nerve center for global policy, development, dialogue, and peace-building efforts. In a shifting world order, Kenya's moments might be just the beginning. I'm Imafred, and this is Analytica Today. What's your take? Is Nairobi becoming the new anchor of the UN in Africa, or is this just another diplomatic cycle? Let us know in the comment section.